Hello, everyone. Good morning, good day, good evening, wherever you're at, whatever time it is. I'm so glad that you're here. This is the biggest and most international career lab to date, I think. We have 27 or 28 Collabis, and we span 15 time zones. And I'm really thrilled that you are all here. Before I go into all the administration and scheduling and all of that, I would like to hand it over to Andrew to welcome you all and tell you a little bit about us. Go for it.
Hi, everybody. I don't really have anything prepared, but Career Lab, y'all just finished your projects. Congratulations. I'm actually attending. I think 4 demos today and 1 more tomorrow, and then everyone will, but watching the channel, everyone's pretty much on their last couple of PRs or whatever, getting that last stuff in, and the projects look great. So well done. Career Lab is, as you know, is this kind of optional 2-week thing where we help you actually get into those jobs. Like the whole point of this thing is for you all to end up employed as web developers, employed as programmers. So, this we've been doing this program now for a while. I don't know. I lost track of time. Maybe 2 years or something. Even has it been that long? Does that sound right? Okay. So at this point, we've kind of figured out a few things that we think are helpful for you all, and Shelly will go over the specifics of it. But really, like, there are kind of 2 broad themes. The first week is helping you get the interview, and the second week is helping you do well in the interview. And it's just another thing where a bunch of people are volunteering their time to help you all out, and hopefully you all make good use of it, because it's a lot of people have said it's as valuable as the project work in terms of kind of getting you ready for interviewing and everything. So anyway, throw yourself into it, and just kind of learn everything you can. Yeah, I'm excited to be part of it again. I love reviewing the LinkedIn profiles and doing the mock interviews and stuff. It's a lot of fun.
Awesome. Yeah, that was a perfect thing. I loved Collab Lab. My experience was fantastic. I loved our shopping list. I loved my team. I loved learning how to pair program and all of that. But when I did Career Lab at the end, because I'm Q1 2022. Yes, wow. Okay, so it's been a few. Then we did Career Lab, and that was a game changer. That changed my confidence. That changed how I approached interviews and applying for jobs, and I just thought it was great. So when Stacy asked for some help, I had to raise my hand and say, "Oh, I'll run Zooms or something." And I've slowly over the last year taken over almost the whole thing because I just love it. So I also want to let you know it's not supposed to be a big pressure thing. We've crammed a ton into the next 2 weeks, but if you can't do some part of it, that's fine. Pick and choose what you want to do. Do it at your own pace. Come back and do it again. Once you're a collabie, you're always a collabie. So if this quarter doesn't work out perfectly, then just let me know. We always put the posts in learning together, so it's not a cohort specific thing. You can come back and do it again. I'm enjoying doing it again, this time from this perspective, because I'm on the job hunt again. So every time, you get to practice in a really fun, safe space and get feedback, and it's perfect. So without further ado, we're going to jump into the repo, because that's where all the magic happens, or at least all the organization. So you've probably already looked at it. And if not, we can get that to work. And yes, okay, you're on. So like Andrew said, 2 goals: get you the interview. So that's where the LinkedIn stuff is. And then once you've got that interview, doing well in it. So that's week 2. I'm not going to go through all the little minutia of every little bit, because there's actually a ton here, but I want to just kind of give you an idea of the flow and highlight some things that I don't want anyone to miss. So you'll notice first the type of meeting. So this is our sync meeting today. That'll have a date, that'll have a time, that'll happen on Zoom. So I'll meet you here on Zoom for the 5 sync meetings in the next 2 weeks. Each one has some material attached to it. So there's not much for orientation. It's just like, hey, we're here, we're going to do this. And there's a little couple notes of like, if you can't make it, don't worry, we're going to record the sessions so you'll be able to see it. Some of these attachments have a lot more information. And so I want to make sure that I show you a few of those. Anything that's marked async, that's you do it at your own pace. You're doing it independently, whether that's watching a video or working on your own LinkedIn, some combination of the above. Those are just you. And you can do them out of order. You can do them next week. You may have already done them. All of that's great. And I'll show you this one because this is a really complex one, what to include on your profile. There's a whole introduction of what's going to happen, what you're going to be working on. And then there's a snippet of a video, and then go to your own LinkedIn, work on those things, make them look the way you want, change some things. You may have a great LinkedIn already, so just take a couple of little suggestions from it, or you may be starting from scratch. And so this has got a ton of information. It'll be super helpful. So do some things, watch the part 2 video, do some more things, part 3 video. Also, before I forget, I can't remember if the line is here, there are a lot of collabbies out there that have come before you. Stalk them on LinkedIn, copy their LinkedIn. We've all of us that went through Career Lab have done it. So if you have little questions like, what do we call going through the Collab Lab? It's not a job, it's sort of an apprenticeship. What do we do? What do we call it? So you can look at other people's LinkedIns to see what they've called it and just steal. I'm a former teacher. That's how we do everything. Next thing, let's see, how to tell your story. Now, one is another recorded session with one of our mentors, and then a couple of prompts for you to think about and then process on your own. These are async again. So you can do them all today if you got some spare time, or you can do them in the next couple of weeks at your own pace or anything in between. Now, we have another sync session coming up on Thursday. Now, this one isn't about getting an interview. This is a bonus session, navigating your finances. Luke is a certified financial planner. He works with tech people. He works with some Collab Lab people. He gave me some advice, or all of us, I guess, during my cohort of Career Lab that I followed that totally saved my life when I got laid off. So this is a great informative session. If you can come live, that's terrific, especially if you have questions. But if not, watch the video. He's done this several times, but every year or every quarter, things are a little different. You know, it's changed a little bit now that layoffs are happening in our industry. And so there might be something specific to this time that you want to see. And there's other previous ones. You can search our YouTube channel and find everything. I forgot to say it, but if you have questions, go ahead and throw it in the chat. Somebody else will answer it, or I can answer it afterwards. Don't worry about that. I just can't see the chat right now. Friday is QA with a recruiter. Super casual, not a presentation at all. You show up with your questions, you get them answered by an actual recruiter that's, you know, recruited in tech. It's super fun. And again, we have a few recorded old ones, so you can always look at the other ones if you've got extra time and you want more information. So week 1, again, mostly about LinkedIn, mostly about how to present yourself when you're applying for a job, how to get to the next step, which is the interview. So week 2 is a little bit meatier. I've got all the async stuff up front, what to ask your interviewers. This one, you're going to watch a video again, get some ideas, and then come up with your own questions and be ready to do your half of the interview. That's one of the things that some people are great at, some people already know, but I always thought an interview was the company learning about me, and that's it. But an interview for a job is a two-way street because you're interviewing the company as well. And that's one of the biggest things I took out of this whole session was ask the questions that you want to know, dig deep. It communicates what you want in a job. And so that's important for your interviewer to know. But also, if there's something important to you that you want to get at, it can show up some red flags, basically asking questions, how they answer. Do you get a mechanical robot answer or do you get a genuine answer? Things like that can really give you a good feeling of the culture and the people at the company that you're going to be spending, 2/3 of your waking hours at, right? So that's really important. We have some specific stuff about the tech interview, because that's a special newfangled thing. If you're new to tech, that interview is not like anything you've ever done in any other industry before. So we've got a lot of resources for that. We're going to have you do a take-home assignment. There's a lot of different types of tech interviews. You can do multiple choice tests. You can do live coding and the LEET code algorithm stuff. But a somewhat newer one, and one that I like much better because it feels so much more authentic, is a take-home assignment. Here's a little prompt, do something with it, and then send it back to us. So we have that. It's a partially done app, and you're being asked to do some more to it to make it more interactive, and to think about accessibility and things like that. So it's a different link. It's another repo. You're going to, I guess, fork it or copy it. And there's a ton of information, right? Explaining all the things that you need to do, how to set it up, your acceptance criteria. So it's a really good mock take-home assignment like you would get from a company for a real role. But we don't want you to spend a ton of time on it. That's key. So this is not spend 3 days making the most amazing app ever. Spend 2 hours. If you don't have 2 hours, spend 1 hour. If you're in love with it, spend 3. But just spend a little chunk of time to have something to show in a mock interview, which you're going to have the second half of the week. So the second half of week 2, you'll have 2 mock interviews. You'll have a job fit, behavioral interview, and a technical. Notice these are sync star because they're going to happen live, but it's between you and one other person. So instead of coming to see me on Zoom, you're going to reach out to your partner, and I'll show you where that is in a second, and just find out when they're available. You might want to do that today. You might want to get on their calendar right away, even though this is almost 2 weeks away, in case they're busy, in case you're busy, to make sure you've got the time. But once you've done the technical take home in the first half of next week, you're going to meet up with a volunteer mentor, and I'm going to jump down to that since I'm talking about it so much and use it as the model, because there's 3 of these that are synchronous that you're scheduling. You are listed here somewhere in this monster list on the left, and your partner is listed on the right. So since EJ's here, and I think Nicole is here, so I'm going to go with this one. Nicole, the Collabby, has been paired up with EJ, the mentor, and sometime next week, they're going to sit down and go through a mock technical interview where Nicole has worked on the project for an hour or 2, and she's going to present what she's done. And EJ is going to ask her questions about the project, about her thought process, and things like that in a very low risk, very authentic way where you can practice and then get some feedback. So it's not all nerve-wracking and terrifying, but you get to go through the motions. So there's 3 of these. So I want you to make sure you look at all 3 of those. And a quick heads up, some of your pairings might change over the next week. They should be set, but there have been a couple people that have reached out to me in the last couple of days saying they couldn't keep going with the session this time around. Something's come up, somebody's moving, things like that. So there might be a little bit of shifting. So keep your eye on that list just to make sure. You have one session where you're paired up with another Collabby. And this is just a chance for you to chat with each other, practice asking each other's questions, practice answers, figure out how each other would answer those, things like that, do some research together. Very informal, but I found this to be incredibly helpful. Just to hear a peer, I guess, I'm thinking like from the student perspective, hearing a peer give me some feedback was also super helpful. And to show me, this is really good, build up on this, or this was a little confusing, stuff like that was super helpful. We have what is my be all end all favorite session. This one's happening on Monday this time around, where we're going to actually watch some of our mentors go through this process. And this is my favorite session because it gave me so many ideas of how, as the interviewee, how to actually lead that interview. And especially for the tech interview. As you can tell, I'm fine with talking to people. I've been a teacher for a really long time. So presenting myself is not that intimidating. But presenting something I built in a field that was new to me was terrifying to an expert. That's how I should say. So as a novice to an expert. And so watching this session and seeing how, as a beginner, you can still, really shine and really express your personality and your thought process. And that's what your interviewer wants to see. They know that you're new, right? That's not a problem. It's how you think, how you communicate, and sort of, what things are important to you, how you ask questions. So anyway, this session is going to be really great. And EJ, who is here, is going to be one of, I think you're going to be our interviewee this time. No, interviewer. You were the
Yes, that's right.
interviewee, right? Cool. So that's going to be really fun to watch this session. That's synchronous. That's on Zoom, but I'm also going to record it. So if you can't make it, that's fine. Let's see. Any other key things I'm forgetting? You're going to schedule a behavioral interview with a partner and a technical. So those are those three. And then in 2 short weeks from today will be our wrap up. It's sort of a graduation. There's no ceremony to it, but it's a great opportunity to talk about the experience, to give us feedback. We are trying to always make it better and more valuable and less stressful. The last couple times our week 2 got too meaty. There was too much for everyone to do. So we have pared back a little bit to make it easier on collabs and mentors. Last time someone said we need more resources. We need to go deeper. And so we, Caitlin, one of our mentors, and a few of you have been paired up with her, so you'll get to meet her, came up with a whole list of job search resources in addition to what we've already got built. So if you want more, follow that link. There's more there. So that session that's going to happen 2 Sundays from today is just your opportunity to give us some feedback, positive, negative, improvement, suggestions, ask more questions, anything. We love to see you and celebrate you. So I think I've gone all through all the key points. I'm going to stop sharing. There is stuff in the chat, so I'll see if it's anything I missed, and feel free to just unmute and ask questions live.
The chat is mostly just us chatting, but there is a question at the very end, which is
The
what was
very
removed from week
end.
2.
Out of curiosity, what was removed from week 2? So navigating finances got moved. So that was just a time chunk. I was like, there's a lot more synchronous stuff going on in week 2. So I thought it was a schedule thing. So it didn't get taken out. It just got shifted to week 1 so that it'd be easier for people to attend. The other thing that got changed is the LinkedIn. So if you look on week 2, no, sorry, week 1, mentors review LinkedIn profiles. That used to be a sync session where you worked through the first half of the week and you did your LinkedIn, then you sent it to your mentor reviewed it, and then the 2 of you got together synchronously to chat about it. And it turned out that that wasn't necessary for a lot of people. And it took more time. It was one more thing to schedule. So what we've done is we just took the sync requirement off. So you still do it in week 1 or first half of the week. You send it to them, they review it, they send it back. And then if you have questions, you reach out and say, do you have 10 minutes to chat with me? Because I don't understand X, Y, or Z. And if you're good, you're good. So we just did that, just a tweak. And then we've just moved stuff around and things like that each time. So if you come up with something good, it might show up next quarter. 3/4 of team 57 are here. There's always that one cohort where everybody's just such a rock star. That would have been my cohort my year. All 4 of us showed up to everything. Yeah, updating your LinkedIn is always good, because once you get your job, you'll find you don't go on there so much. You don't post so much, you don't read there so much. You'll find weeks where you haven't gone on, even though it becomes your whole life for a while. So yeah. EJ, was that for me? Oh yeah, no, I'm not humble. TCL 36 is just the rock stars forever. We've got me. We have 2 mentors that came out of there. We're active on Slack. Yeah, we're the best.
And just to support what you're saying about updating LinkedIn, and don't be me, I've been with TCL since 2020, and only this year finally put it on my LinkedIn. So don't be me.
Yeah, no, definitely put it on your LinkedIn. You're gonna find, you probably already know this, but the project you're finishing today or tomorrow is the best source of question answering and discussion and teamwork when you're in interviews. It's just the greatest. If you haven't already worked in tech, even if you have, honestly, I had an interview a couple of weeks ago and I brought something up from that experience, because you're just so much more deeply involved than you might be in the real world. When I was working as an engineer in my first role, for weeks on end, I'd be working on the little tiny corner of something. And they'd ask a question about the back end. I'd be like, I didn't have anything to do with any of that. I didn't talk to a single back end person for a month. So the fact that you're on this team of 4 and did everything, you got a lot of meat there to talk about. Talking with mentors, definitely. Thanks, Nicole.
Yeah, I
We
just
do
put
have
a
the
note in there.
TCL group. That's right.
Yeah, so on LinkedIn, just another reason to be on LinkedIn, I guess. Yeah, we have a community there. It's a private group, so if you search for it, you probably won't find it. But it's another way to sort of stay connected. So I think it means you have to connect with me first, or one of the other admins. But if you haven't, I'm connected to most people already, so hopefully that's not a barrier. And then I can add you to that.
Also, I want to say, in case it wasn't clear, you can stay on Slack for as long as you want to hang out after you're done with TCL. We want people to stay with us, be friendly, be active, come back and help out if you wish to, but otherwise you can socialize or just jump into discussions you think are interesting whenever you feel like it.
Yes, please do.
Yeah, definitely. There are a bunch of channels if you haven't already explored that. We're a very active group, even outside of your TCL cohort.
And if you want to be more involved, Stacey and I are about to put out another plea for volunteers to kind of take little pieces of the things that we do. There are chunks of things that we do that are kind of tidy and able to be delegated, and we would love to have people take those pieces from us so we can concentrate on larger kind of thematic things, strategy. So
if you want to help me with the website and the templates that you use to make your projects, please come help me do that. Just saying.
Also, there's totally a typo in that thing I just wrote, but Get the Job Done is the channel where some of that stuff pops up. That's how I found out about Stacey wanting help with the Career Lab. So that's a good channel to watch.
And now look at you. So
yeah, and now look at me. Oh, it's got hyphens in it. Okay, yeah, I didn't even get close. Forget the typo. Yeah. So I think that's all we've got for this. Jump in, look at those first few days, look through that asynchronous stuff, get started. Reach out to your partner sooner rather than later. They're all next week, but at the same time, again, if you can get onto the calendar, that'll be great. I do know I have to make one more shift, so I'm going to do that as soon as we get off, so that the person doesn't connect with the wrong person. So I have to make one more shift on that, but I'm going to try not to make any more shifts. But I'll reach out to you and let you know if something happens. Actually, Nicole, if I got you here, are you okay shifting again? Okay. Sorry about that. She's gotten moved a couple of times. So I'm going to do that again. And hopefully that'll be the final move. Let's see. I think that's it. So Thursday is our next live session, but you've got a lot of material to slog through before then. Have fun. Reach out if you need anything to any of us. We will help or point you in the right direction if we can't.
And in your cohort channel too, as you're learning things, if there are things that are interesting to you, maybe you can strike up conversations with people to start a thread and stuff, get other people's perspective on it. It's that's what makes it a community, and like we all learn better when we're learning from each other at the same time.
Okay, awesome. Well, for those of you in the States, enjoy tomorrow's holiday. Try not to work too hard. I think there's a bank holiday in the UK too. So if you have a holiday tomorrow, yay. If not, sorry. But enjoy the rest of today for sure. And I'll see you in a few days.
Thank you, Shelley. Thank you, Andrew.
Thanks, Shelley.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.